Welcome to our Cleancast. Thanks for joining us today. Let me ask you a question. Do you know someone who's always going to start doing something but never seems to get around to it? Is it you? You know, we're early in the new year. We're early into 2016 with this Cleancast. And my question is, did you set any goals, any resolutions at the end of 2015 that you said, this I'm going to do, I'm going to start doing this when the new year rolls around? Are there any of those things that you haven't started yet, that you just didn't get around to? Are you waiting for the right time for that to happen? You know, my wife's best friend for years was quite an interesting lady. She would get up in the morning about 10:30 in the morning, go to the kitchen table, grab a cup of coffee, and she'd start making a list of all those things that she needed to do that day. I mean, I saw the list a couple of times. It got pretty extensive. Well, that took her from about 10:30 or so until 1 o'clock. Then she thought it was time for some lunch, so she'd have lunch. So all of a sudden we're at 2:30 now, or 3 o'clock, and she'd just say, the heck with it, and she'd throw it in the trash. She said, I'll get it tomorrow. You know, she just never got around to doing anything. She made great lists. She really made great lists, but she just never got around to doing it. And I always chuckled at that. Never had the inkling to give her a challenge on it, but I just enjoyed watching her make her list. And then, you know, the afternoon was too late already, so we won't even do the list today. And then, you know, I had a friend of mine who was a police officer years ago, and when he was about 30 at the time, and he said, you know, I've always wanted to be an attorney. And I said, well, now's a good time as any. His wife had a good job, and I said, now go to law school. He said, Dick, do you realize the time I get out of law school, I'll be 38 years old? 38 to start a law practice. So I looked at him and I said, Peter, in 8 years, how old will you be if you don't go to law school? He thought about it a minute, thought about it longer than that. And he said, you're right, I'll be 38 years old and still no law degree. He became a lawyer, and I would say a very successful one at that. You know, Colonel Sanders, we all know about KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. Colonel Sanders started KFC when he was 66 years old. He knew he had a recipe, he had something he wanted to do. He went out and did it. At the age of 66 is when he started. So, what is it you need to have or want to get done? Have you started? Have you decided it was too hard, or are you waiting on the right time? You know, you waiting for someday? Could someday be today? Maybe today is the right time to get started on doing that thing that you're waiting for it to be the right time. You know, I was fortunate as a young businessman back when I was in my late 20s and up to about late 30s or so. We had a 10-year period of time in there where a group of us got together twice a month to discuss strictly those things that could help us become successful in what our business endeavors were. I was so grateful for those gentlemen because we had to reveal what our goals were to each other. And then we got really hammered if we weren't, we had to say, this is what I plan to do in the next 2 weeks to move closer to that goal or goals that I have. And in 2 weeks, if we came and said we haven't done anything or we haven't got there yet, we got hammered by the rest of them. There was about 8 of us in this group. And it was a wonderful group to get together and just focus on what none of us were in the same business. We were all in different businesses, different industries. We had a pharmacist, we had an attorney, we had an insurance man, we had a CPA. I was in the contract cleaning business. We actually had a rancher, a farmer and a rancher who was successful. We had an auctioneer in the group. I'm sure I'm leaving one or two of them out, but that was the group. And we hammered each other if we didn't make it, and what we had said we were going to do. So start today. The right time might just be right now. You know, one thing about it, if you don't start, it's certain you can't arrive. Thanks for watching us today. See you next time.